Everyone, Kevin Jarday. We'll give you another educational moment on a basement that we're actually working with in Oak Ridge, and showing you how some systems are great, some systems aren't, and why you do certain systems, why you don't do certain systems. All my competition, I think every single person in that basement, when you have a basement that's got some water intrusion coming in, will take and they'll put a barrier here of some sort. They have plastic sheets, they have plastic, 20 mil plastic. We use a 20 mil plastic when we do it. But it goes down, and then you cut the concrete out of the basement here. You cut the concrete out, and then you go down right below the footer area, and then you put your some gravel in, and you put your sock drain in, and then you put gravel on top. Then you put our plastic on top of that, and then we put the concrete back on top of that and finish the floor back out. That's all made. Put a trenching in the French drain system out to wherever you're going to put the sump pump. And what that does is it allows the water that's coming through the wall, if you have a lot of it, or anything coming through this groundwater that's coming up, hit that pipe and going out to the sump pump. Great system. But the big thing is you got to understand, it depends on who you're having come out to look at it. And that's what we're really going to talk about a little bit here right now in the video is, there's one of our competitions came in here and actually put a system in, but put the wrong system in. So why it's important to have the right salesperson, because if you have a salesperson that just sells, has never done the work, or doesn't have any experience in it, they're going to sell you stuff that you don't need, such as this particular house. They come in here and they cut the concrete out, put a trench system all the way out to the garage, put a sump pump out there, and zero water is getting into that from that system. And they still had a lot of mold on the wall. They used to have a wall here, and they they did a good job. They didn't put whoever put the wall back didn't put it against the wall or nail it to the wall. I don't think they nailed it to the wall. Do they have anything nailed to the wall? Okay, but they didn't fix the water issue. Okay, so what they did the trenching, but they didn't sell in the plastic. Well, they put the plastic in here. They wouldn't have had an issue ever with it. So I'm not sure why they didn't sell them an extra $1,500 for that. But in all reality, that system is just not necessary on this particular situation. So what we did, we came in and we put our water, this dry waterproofing on this wall. We've got our second coat on this, and as you see, it's wet. So ours takes this particular situation that we have. If you have time to wait. So if you have time, you get 3 or 4 weeks where you can do the basement, leave it open, let it dry, and then we'll come back and put a final coat on it that'll actually seal it 100%. That's by far the best way to do this. However, most people want the instant gratification. They don't want their basements tore up very long. They got living areas. They want to be able to use their living areas. So if you want that, then the plastic on the walls, the trenching and everything, it's a lot more expensive, but it's instant fix. Okay, so these clients, they weren't necessarily worried about the time frame as much as they were wanting to get it done right and to take care of the moisture. So that's what we're doing on this right here. And right here, if you look right in the spot here, this is where they used to have outlets in the wall. So back in the day, back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, they would take and just bust holes in the block, put a metal box back there, run a wire in, either top to bottom or inside out, and then they put sheetrock on. The problem is that any moisture, which is always going to be moisture, rusts that box out. It's a place of water intrusion to come in. It's just never a good idea. So this particular company, they came and they cut a concrete trench here, but they didn't address any of the water issues from here to the backside of the house. And as you can see, even with our waterproofing, you can see there was definitely water and moisture issues back there. So that was just an issue that just kept snowballing itself and making it worse and worse. Secondly, when they put their system in, and I've never seen this before, but for some reason the contractor, when he built the house, he didn't pour concrete all the way against the block. All right, so there's absolutely no concrete here. So when they put their system in, if it would have had water in here, if the system would have been necessary and we had water, this would have had water sitting in it. There's absolutely no signs of any water ever sitting in this, so that's not the case. But again, it's a system that was sold to them that didn't need to be sold because the salesperson didn't know what they're talking about. All right, and you see right here, they built this wall here, which I'm glad to see they built the wall and not nailed it to a foundation. But whoever built the wall built it over the gap. So really, there's not, it's just, you don't want to do that. So the homeowner's going to either we're going to do it, or the homeowner's going to just take, and he's a handy guy, so he's going to take and put concrete back in this thing and make it solid. So when he puts the wall back in there, we have a solid foundation for it. So we go out here to the garage, and we have another room in here as well that was had issues. So when we come out, when we come out, you know, the homeowner had this totally covered and stuff. So to save him money, he moved everything himself, which saves us a lot of headache too. Because we don't like companies don't like moving people's personal stuff because some gets broke, some gets missing, some gets damaged. You know, they don't like that. But so we do it. We're going to charge you for it for that reason. That trench system came through here and it came about 8 inches in. The only other thing about this 8 inches in that this particular company does, we always go a foot and a half to 2 foot. Why we do that? Because when they build a house, I've built houses 30 years. When you build a house and you dig your footer, it's always 2 feet wide at least, right? So if you're going to do the wall, if you're going to put a trench system in and you cut the concrete out, there's a footer right here, right? Well, typically there's 4 inches of concrete and maybe 1 inch or 2 of gravel, and then you got your footer. Well, that pipe being 4 inches, that's not enough room to have enough concrete on top of that pipe. So really it's supposed to come in and below the footer, or right next to the footer, not on top of the footer, okay? And then all the water is directed to that, which takes it to your sump pump. Hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, you can give me a call at InstaDri and I'll explain it better. But come in here, this particular system right here, that this company uses, you know, you see water in the tub, right? But if you look at the pipe, there's never been water in this pipe. Now, how do I know that? Because if you look down here, see how stained that is? See how the white paint is turned brown and the gray is turned brown? If water had been coming here over the years, this would be the same way, and it would have dripped down in here. So the water you see in here is groundwater. Every house has groundwater, okay? So when you say every house has groundwater, what's that mean? Well, this particular house, in the 12, 15 years it's been in, the water's never been no more than that close to the surface, okay? So there's absolutely no reason for a sump pump. This whole system was totally unnecessary. They probably spent $8,000 to $10,000 to do something that didn't work at all. So what we do, you know, they can actually fill this in with concrete if they wanted to, not even has a system, or they can keep it just for safety purposes, but it's totally unnecessary. So when you're having any issues with your basements or anything, it's always good to have multiple opinions. All right, but do your research on the company, do your research on the systems, and you know you're kind of at mercy of people, at the salesman. You know, you're kind of at mercy if they have experience or they don't have experience. Because if they're just a salesperson, somebody hired, and I'm guilty of this too. I've had people I've brought in to do sales, and you know, my sales went way down, but at the same time, they were selling stuff, and you know, I didn't know if it's something needed because I never went out there. So now I do all the sales. My son and I do all the sales for our company because we both know what it takes, and if there's any questions, he gives me a call. So that's what you want. You want accountability. You want somebody that knows what they're doing. Somebody has done the work physically themselves to do this, and that has experience. You know, I didn't get this gray hair just because I have 5,000 kids for nothing. You know, I have a lot of experience from working with this kind of stuff. I built houses 30 years. I was a home inspector for 10 years. I was a real estate agent for 10 years. And no, I'm not 55. You know, 55 plus 30. And I'm not 80 years old. I did all that at the same time. You know, you can say, you know, in conjunction with each other. But anyway, if this is helpful to you, if you like this video, if you can share it on your Facebook, if you can share it on Instagram, if you can subscribe to my YouTube video at InstaDri Kevin Jarday, I'd appreciate it. And give us a call. We'd love to help you. Thanks.